Hey, and welcome to the Writing Momentum Podcast. I'm Christopher Maselli. I'm here with my wife, Gina. Gina, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about our guest today.
Oh, this is super
Yes.
exciting for me too. Today we have a special guest. This is the fresh princess of email marketing, Liz Wilcox. So Liz is an email strategist and she shows small businesses, including authors like us, how to build online relationships, package up their magic and turn it into emails that people want to read, and most importantly, purchase from. And check this out. In the span of 5 years, she grew and sold a successful blog. She got bought out of her second company. She built the third into a multiple six-figure business. But what she's best known for maybe is her 2,000 plus users in her email marketing membership, which you're going to hear about today.
Yes.
And we call her our best kept secret because of how
Yes.
she helps us every week with our newsletter. Welcome, Liz Wilcox. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, that was an excellent bio. Who wrote that?
I think that was your bio, but it was written so well.
Wow, this lady's good. But I do want to say we're now at almost 4,000
Is
members.
that
So
right? You
I have
doubled
to
over that.
update that.
Wow,
Yes,
that is
it's
amazing.
wild.
That's
That's so
fantastic.
you've gone up another like this bio I think was written like even less than a year ago, right? So you doubled that much in just a year?
Yeah, I have. Wow, that sounds like I want to scratch my tongue because it sounds so braggy. But yeah, I did that.
That's awesome. You have earned the right to brag a little bit, I
Yes.
think. So that is really cool. But
De-
so tell us, so a lot of our listeners may not know you, may not know how you got started in helping authors and small businesses with newsletters. And that's what we're going to talk about today's newsletters to get started in all this.
Yeah. So, friends, like you, I'm just a writer at heart. I love writing. And when I figured out you could make money on the internet from writing, I thought, okay, I'm going to go all in on this. So I started an RV travel blog because from my research, people said, oh, a blog makes more money than books or something like I don't know. I read that. So I said, okay, I'm going to just start blogging. But my very first digital product was a book. It was called Tales from the Black Tank, which, if you don't know what the Black Tank is, that's where your sewage goes. I know Chris and Gina are very familiar with black
Yeah.
tanks. And so it was just a collection of hilariously crabby RV stories. It sold something like $7,000 worth in the first few months directly from my email list.
Wow, that's
But
pretty good.
then, yeah, so after the book, and this is a story I don't tell very often, but I really do consider myself a writer first. So I went to a writers conference called Tribe Conference with Jeff Goins way back when he was doing that. And I realized that there was so much unlimited potential. But y'all, I was broke. I had to charge my credit card to go to this conference. And I just knew there was something I didn't know. And so I actually I tend to be a little aggressive. And so I actually got Jeff Goins to hire me. And I was
Nice.
his customer service manager, whatever you want to call it, for years. And so to answer their question about like how did I get started with email with authors specifically, Goins had an email list of 100, 200,000 people. And I was the person, if you hit reply on one of his newsletters, I was the person reading it and replying. Of course, I was doing that under my name. We weren't pretending we were Jeff. That guy's pretty unique. Nobody can beat him. But I got to know, outside of myself identifying as a writer, I got to know so many other writers and authors and people, and maybe you can identify as you listen to this, people that really just believed in their book, but maybe didn't believe in themselves as much, didn't really understand how this online business thing worked or how, I got my book on Amazon. I guess I'm a millionaire now and didn't understand how to jump from putting it on Amazon to actually getting people to buy to building an audience like Jeff's. And I spent years, I mean, I must have talked to tens of thousands of writers and aspiring authors, really getting to know them and getting to know their individual needs and roadblocks and all manner of things. And so I feel like a certain kinship and I identify so much with writers. So I'm really excited to be here today. I feel like I finally made it. I'm talking to the Masellis and I'm like, oh my gosh, I made it. This is awesome.
That's something I did not know about you, and what a mentorship, right? To be able to start there and learn from that, and writers conferences too. Gina and I are always talking about writers conferences and how important those are because they change your whole, I guess, like mental idea of what it's like to be an author, and the fact that you can do it, right? You always get encouraged in those things. You realize, hey, this is possible.
Yeah. And I think also we always talk about how you find your tribe when you get there. All of a sudden, you're in this writers' conference, and there's people that are just as excited
Yeah.
about their books and about their message and about their passions of bringing characters to life or not their nonfiction message, bringing that to life. And yeah, I completely understand the idea that you go to a writers conference, you start talking to writers and you're like, oh, we get one another. We understand one another on this very deep level that we just understand and root for one another.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when we were talking about newsletters, and I was mentioning this a little bit before we got started today, because a lot of writers, when you start talking about newsletters, they think, I don't have anything to sell, or maybe I just have my one book, so I don't need a newsletter. I just need to put it on Amazon. So, what would you say to that writer who questions whether or not they need a newsletter?
Okay. So raise your hand. I can't see you, but raise your hand if you were alive in 2022 and you remember there was a billionaire that decided he wanted to own a social media platform. So he bought it. And then it imploded upon itself. And now it goes by a different name. People are leaving in droves, and it's a wasteland over there.
Right.
And I mention this because a lot of writers, especially journalists, authors, people like you and me, that was an important platform. That was where writers went to find people, to find that tribe, like Gina said, of like minded individuals, to find our audience, to find people to help us grow, etc. And now that platform is kind of strong, we'll
Yeah.
say. So I can't see you, but I bet you're raising your hand because I think you were alive last year and I think you remember that. So that's the power of the newsletter. That's the power of owning your own platform, of having the right people, say you found them on that platform, to get over to your email list and say, yes, Chris, yes, Gina, yes, Liz, I want to hear more from you. Imagine also your favorite novelist, your favorite author. If you could hear more from them, if you could read more of their work every single week, even just once a month outside of the books that they're publishing, wouldn't that excite you? I'm thinking of my like seventh, eighth grade self when the Harry Potter books were coming out and we had to wait a year or 2 years for the next one. If I could have read a newsletter from that lady, even a few times a year, I probably would have bought 10 books instead of just the one, right? I would have been super jazzed. So that's the power of the newsletter. It allows you to stay connected while you're writing your books, while you're working on other marketing efforts. It allows you to keep in contact with those people that love your writing and you own it. No billionaire can come and tell you, hey, this is how we're going to do things now. Social media is a very centralized platform. And as we saw, one person can literally change everything. Email is a decentralized platform. There's a lot of players. And so it would take hundreds of thousands of dominoes to actually change the platform. So you really do own it.
So,
So when you're talking about newsletters, you mentioned you can send out a newsletter while you're writing your book. So do you see newsletters as more than just a sales piece? Because I think that's what a lot of authors get into this idea of I'm just going to sell my book.
yeah, I'll start my newsletter when I've got my book done, and I'll let people know that it's out now, and I'll send out maybe 5 or 6 newsletters right in a row, let them know got my launch kind of thing, and then I guess then what, right? Maybe wait until the next book's ready.
That's such a missed opportunity. And my best friend is an author, and I keep telling him, oh, you got to start a newsletter. And he said the same thing. I just got to get my first book done, Liz. And now he's doing all this email marketing, trying to build a list, collect emails at fairs and festivals and things where he's selling. And he said, "Oh, I wish I would have gotten these people excited while I was writing." We all see these marketing campaigns for big names, like let's say Beyonce. She worked with Adidas a few years ago. And before the clothing even launched, they're sending out newsletters. They're making commercials. They're saying, this is the date. This is the date. This is the date. The same with movies. The Barbie movie, look at that marketing that happened in the spring and summer of 2023, right? It was everywhere before the movie was even released. So that's what you can do with your newsletter. You can gather interested people who have opted in, who've said, yeah, I want to hear more. And you can get them hyped for the release. That's how a launch works, right? We don't just say, oh, hey, here it is. And everyone just runs to the store, right? Black Friday back in the 90s, it was the store doesn't open at 6. So I'm going to get there at 4 a.m., right? Because the store is going to launch its sale at 6 a.m. So that's the power of the newsletter. It's not just about sales. Sure, it all leads up to a sale eventually, but it's about getting a group of interested buyers or potential customers onto a list, nurturing them, getting to know them. Just like you're listening to this podcast, you're getting to know me right now. Every time you tune in, you get to know Chris and Gina a little bit more. That's the power of the newsletter. That's why you should have one, because it's just this way of turning those interested people into a sort of friend that is much more easily sold into a customer later because they are invested in the vision. They're invested in your book launch as much as you because they've been on the journey the whole time.
I love how you bring in pop culture references so many times when you teach things. It's so grounding because we're all surrounded by pop culture stuff, and I'm almost like, oh yeah, now it makes sense when you say it like that. So it's really good. But okay, so what if you don't have a list at all though? Okay, let's say I'm an author and I'm like, okay, hey, I'm not even on Mailer Lite or any of those fancy platforms. I'm not even sure where to start. What do I do? How do I even start this whole thing? Or should I start yet?
Yeah, you should definitely start right now. Pause this, go ahead and follow the next advice. So, what I suggest is if you don't have anything yet, just go to the social media platform where you are most active right now and just say, hey, I'm writing a book about XYZ, or I'm starting something over here. If you're interested, I'm going to be sending out, I don't know, a weekly or a monthly newsletter. The timing really doesn't matter. I don't want you to commit to something you can't do. I'm going to be writing, keeping people updated on the book. I'm really excited. Share your excitement with people and they'll be excited too. If you're interested, I'd love for you to follow along on my book writing journey, or as I launch this thing, I'll put the link in the comments or something like that. And that, of course, you're not going to get 1,000,001 followers or subscribers right away. But number one, it's going to start you in the act of, right? You don't just write a book. You have to sit down and write the first 500 words, right? This is that equivalent. You don't just have an email list of buyers. You've got to start somewhere. So you might get 2 or 3, and it's going to motivate you. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm doing this thing. And I'm sure Chris and Gina have a lot more ideas on how authors and writers specifically can build their lists, but that's how you really get started.
That took a mind shift for us, I know, when we started doing our newsletter, because we really were thinking, okay, no one's really going to be interested in just what we have to say week by week. We need to have something to let them know about, something we've created, whether it's a book or a membership site or online training or whatever. We have to have something to let them know about. And I actually think it was after we met you that we started to realize, oh, okay, no, I think we need to actually just let people have a window into our world, because if they're raising their hand and saying they're interested in our newsletter, that probably means they want to know a little bit more about us, as uncomfortable as that was, right? And we're still uncomfortable today posting a lot about ourselves on social media or anything because it just feels so strange. And yet it's been something we've had to realize, okay, maybe we need to get over that a little bit, because if they are raising their hand and saying, hey, I'm interested, then maybe they want to build that relationship. And we can't go out on dates with our people on our email list if we don't show up, right? In the first place.
Yeah. So for writers specifically, I know for me, I don't speak for everyone. When I'm writing, And even I'm a very personal person. If you look at my website, you'll probably laugh and say, no, you're not, Liz. You're everywhere. I just have a loud personality. That doesn't mean you know everything about my life, but it can appear that way. Let that be a testament to you don't have to go into details to connect with people, especially when you're first starting out. Just sharing surface level stuff like what you like to drink in the morning or a little bit about your writing routine. You don't have to go into your relationship status or how you parent. Most people don't know any of that about me, but they still feel incredibly connected to me because I love the 90s and I wear headbands and I'm a little silly. Again, that's surface level stuff, but it's enough to make a deep connection when you show up and follow up all the time.
But what if you don't have time to write a newsletter? What if you're like, hey, I don't have time. I don't have any ideas. Because it is hard sometimes to come up with something new. If you want to do a weekly newsletter, let's say every
Yeah.
single week, and you think, oh, what am I going to write about this week?
Yeah, we made it to about week 4 and we
Yeah.
were like, yep, I've
Well,
said everything.
that's it.
I have
We're out
nothing
like
else to
this.
say. And it really was not until we found you that I can listen to you talk about, and I know you're going to talk about email marketing membership, but when I found you, it's like all of a sudden you just spurred ideas for me for writing that draft or coming up with ideas and strategy and things. So, yeah, definitely.
Thanks. So I'll give you a little bit of a framework before I shamelessly promote my $9 membership. So if you want to go the do it yourself route, you're a writer. I know you got this. Something that I tell people to follow is the email staircase. So first you have a follower, get people on your email list and turn them into a friend. And once you have a list full of friends, you have a list full of customers, AKA people who will buy your book and your next book and your next book and your next book, right? So how do you make a friend? Number 1, just show that you're invested. Number 2, share in a relatable way. And then number 3, stay top of mind. So in order to write from that friend level in your newsletter, I always say if it takes more than 20 minutes, you're doing it wrong. So again, show you're invested or share in a relatable way. That is a greeting and a short personal update. 2 to 3 sentences about something you've done since the last time you emailed them. I was on a podcast. I wrote 2,000 words last week. I walked my dog. I learned about Amazon Kindle publishing and I didn't cry last week about it. I think I'm going to be able to publish this thing soon, right? That's just 2 to 3 sentences. It made them laugh. It connected. It showed I was invested in the book for them, right? It's going to be out soon. And then just segue from that personal update into whatever you need to share. If your book is up and live, you share that link. If you wrote a blog post, share that. If you did an interview or you just got on Instagram for the first time and you want people to follow you over there, share that. If you don't have anything else to say, just say, hey, that's the update on the book. Thank you so much for being interested in it. I can't wait for it to come out, express that gratitude, and get out of there. So in short, remember, we're turning those new followers into friends by sharing that we're invested in the book, we're relatable, and we're going to stay top of mind. So just that personal update, segue into whatever content you have for them that week or whatever message you want to share, and then get the heck out of there.
That is so good. When you say 20 minutes, you said if you spend more than 20 minutes working on it, you're doing it wrong. That is both freeing and very scary. I'm thinking of friends who are probably listening to this right now. So I need to say, hey, check this out. You'll love this. But sometimes I know some friends who will spend 3 or 4 hours working on their newsletter. Like they want to craft that kind of perfect piece.
I'm cringing, guys. I'm just going to interrupt Chris and
No,
tell
please
you
do.
that if you're thinking like, oh my gosh, it takes me hours, I have to tell this story. Remember, it is a newsletter, not a novel. If you don't have time to write it, chances are your reader doesn't have time to read it. So if you're spending 3 or 4 hours for someone to not open your email because they know it's going to be too long and they're just waiting for the book anyway, that's I'm an efficient person and that's highly inefficient. So It's a newsletter, not a novel. Write that down. I know you're probably driving or doing the dishes or something, but commit that to memory. It's a newsletter, not a novel. I want you to spend time on your novel, on your memoir, on your inspirational book, whatever it is. Consider this your permission slip. You don't have to dedicate the brain power you dedicate to your novel, to your book, to your newsletter. It can be much simpler. And if you want to make it really simple, you can join email marketing membership. It's $9 a month. I'm so grateful for Chris and Gina letting me come on and talk about it. That 20-minute framework I just shared, that personal update into content, etc. I do all of that for you every single Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern, without fail. You're going to get a template, and I mean template. It's fill in the blank. It comes with a video walkthrough on why the heck you would send this and how you can vary it depending on what kind of book you're selling or what kind of business you're trying to grow. And it comes with samples so you can see, oh, this was written with an informal tone, or this one was written with a more professional tone. So you can really, especially as writers, I love when writers join because they can, take everything that I'm giving and spit out something that Chat GPT wishes, right? You can really get a very holistic view of what I'm trying to help you with, and you can spit out something that your readers are going to love. That's going to take you no time at all. Every single Monday morning, you can get a new one. It also comes with live Q&A, some other awesome stuff, and it's $9 a month. So what do you got to lose? Cancel anytime. Late Netflix, baby.
And I want to throw out what I love about it, because you mentioned that you give this framework, but our voice, it's not like we're getting this template where it's just this fill in the blank and everybody's is going to sound the same. It's really a framework. And I say that because we've been on your mailing list. We've been a part of your membership for a while. And so I can tell when there's been a couple of places that I've thought, I think they're using Liz's thing. And the only reason I know that is because I've been a part of your membership for a while, but because I can see where they're going with it, because I've listened to your short video tutorial on what you're trying to accomplish there, not because it sounds like anything that I put together, not like it sounds like anybody else's. It's still very uniquely their voice, very uniquely their offer or their content that they're giving. But it's still, I love it. I love that it gives you that framework. I guess that's what I want to get across. It's just that it's not, oh, I'm going to get this template, so I'm going to sound like 4,000 other people. It's not that at all. It very much gives you the freedom to make it your own. And so everybody's sounds different. Even when like I said, and I've only received one like that, but I thought, I bet.
Only
that
because
they're
you know behind the
using-
scenes.
Only because I've
Yeah.
seen behind the scenes and I could tell where they were leading me, and because I'm studying this, right? I'm using it from that position. But I still marveled because I thought, that's really cool. They're in a completely different arena, and it's just very much theirs. It's uniquely theirs. So anyway, I love the framework. It takes the guesswork out of what am I going to write this week. I
And
love that.
I think that's what's made us so enthusiastic about it. Because when we started writing newsletters, we always struggled with what do we write this week? And it's like Liz is this helper that comes along and says, hey, why don't you write about this? And it just gives us that idea of, oh, okay, yeah. And it sparks something. And you know that, okay, I don't need to write 20 paragraphs about this very succinctly. I can write about this here good. And I'm ready to send. And it's free to be able to use it to us really more than anything. It makes doing a newsletter realistic. And did you say $9 a month? Because that's like amazing.
I did.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
$9. Y'all, when I was first starting out, I didn't have any money. And I know as writers, there's this myth of the starving artist, right? And we have to love our writing, right? And that often doesn't come with a lot of cash flow at first. And so I wanted to make this really accessible. And one of the reasons why I love writers, especially to join, like Gina was saying, you're going to be able to make this your own. And so I know you're writing an amazing book right now. And I also know that like the marketing piece, like you're so into your book that it's like, I don't have time to market. And that's where my zone of genius comes in. So one of the things Chris pointed out to me they've been in the membership for years. He was like, it's you're like my marketing strategist. And so I don't even have to worry about the marketing. And so every single week I'm piecing this together so that it can lead to your launch, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to think about that piece until you get there. And then you can come to the Q&A and you can say, okay, Liz, I've used the last 3 months. How can I vary this to get ready for my book launch? And I'll be there to answer that. But I'm doing the marketing for you. You don't even have to buy another course or, you know, try to find another expert or whatever. Like the marketing piece, the build up is always there. I'm always climbing the email staircase for you. I'm always writing from the point of, okay, this person needs to invest today. This person needs to become relatable. This person needs to stay top of mind. That is what is in my brain when I'm writing so that you can use the template and get back to writing what you're good at. And together we can sell it when it's ready.
Yeah.
So good.
So highly recommend this. We absolutely love it. It's like hiring someone for your team that can help you strategize your email every week for only $9 a month, which is
So worth
so
it.
amazing. So if you want to learn more about it, that sort of thing, go to wmdeal.com/Liz and you can find out about that. That's wmdeal.com/Liz, and we'll have the link in the show notes. But check this out. She also has another version of this where you can pay for the whole year in advance. And when you do, you get all of Liz's other trainings, because what Liz has just alluded to a little bit on here, she does regular trainings throughout the year on all sorts of things, email and business building and entrepreneurial related, that really is super helpful. You can find out about that at wmdeal.com/Liz annual. So both of those links will be in the description.
Yeah,
Definitely check those out.
definitely. I love it too when you do your live Q&As. You usually do one a month, right? And I love that because people can get that feedback when they're having trouble with something. And even if someone says, I don't have a question, just coming in and listening to other people talk about what they're dealing with, I feel like I learned so much. So definitely worth it. So worth it. I think it's been a lifesaver for us, really, because I was running out of things to talk about. And what's really crazy about that, Liz, if I can admit this, is that we write for other people, but sometimes it's easier to write for other people than it is to write for your own
100%.
stuff. And you look at other people's work and you go, oh, you could write about this and we can do this. And you come up with all these ideas and you can write forever. But when it comes to your own stuff, I don't know, there's that insecurity that comes up of, nobody really wants to, nobody wants to hear this or hear that. And I love that you take that and you go, no, you're on the right track. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And here's how you're going to do it. So it takes a lot of that guesswork out. So big fan.
Thank you. I can't wait to see what people do with email. I really believe in it, especially as writers. We have mouths, we have stomachs, we need to feed ourselves, and email marketing has the highest ROI. So I can't wait to see what everybody does with email. Thank you so much for having me.
So
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Hey, if you have enjoyed this episode, we
Mhm.
ask that you would rate, review, subscribe, and share it with someone else who needs to know
Yeah.
about writing their author newsletter, getting their material out there so others can find out about it. Let them know about the email marketing membership at wmdeal.com/Liz. Part of the reason we do this podcast is because we know that writing isn't a solitary venture. It is something better when we do it together. Because together, what, Gina?
We have writing momentum.
Bye-bye.